A typical day and a typical week for an average American is as follows. The alarm clock goes off at 6:30 a.m. You get up, get ready for your day, get your coffee, and by 7:30 you're out the door heading for work. By 8:30, maybe 9, you get to work, and the next 8 hours you spend working away. By the time you're done with work and you get home, it's around 6 p.m. and you have to make dinner and get ready for the next day. So by the time you're done with dinner and cleaning up, it's about 7 p.m. and you have to get ready for the next day. And after that, by the time you're done with everything, you really have no more time left in the day to relax and enjoy your time. So this is a typical day for a single working American who has no children. But imagine you have children and a spouse. How much time would you have left to enjoy with your family? This 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, 40-hour work week has created a schedule that leaves very little time to spend with family and friends, do activities you enjoy, take care of children, and do your basic household chores. And now, as the world has evolved, so has productivity and the effectiveness of employed people. So it's time that our work schedule actually reflects how we have evolved in these past 90 years. The 40-hour work week is not the most effective work schedule anymore because the framework is outdated, industry standards and needs have changed, and it causes severe cases of burnout, which leads to less productivity. So, let's begin by exploring the problems associated with the standard 40-hour work week. So, the first issue is that the 40-hour work week is just outdated and does not reflect how society acts in the 21st century. So the Fair Labor and Standards Act in the 1900s was a labor law that was created to provide guidance on minimum wage, overtime, the standard work week, and child labor laws. And this was very great at the time. But again, that was in the early 1900s. And along with that, according to economics Howard Hage, in the early 1900s, the percentage of dual worker families would have been roughly around 9%, whereas in 2020, only 8.6% of married coupled families have an unemployed member. So this means that there is a big change in how families work together. Even though we have more individuals working in a family, they're still working the same amount of time with less focus on child care and household duties. A new report by the DECO Group also says that 75% of workers believe that it's important to have flexibility over their schedule and working hours, and that there should be more of a focus on meeting the company's needs than working a set number of hours. And this has changed since the early 1900s because now we work on more project-based work, and we don't work like machinery. We don't need to work 40 hours a week putting things together because now we have technology to do that. Along with those reasons, the way people work and conduct business has drastically changed since the early 1900s. Like I mentioned earlier, we are no longer working like machines. Technology has taken over that. We're more of a project-based employees now. But according to a report published by O2 Business and the Center for Economic and Business Research, mobile phones, emails, business software, are continuously improving productivity, which is expected to rise by another 22% in the next 7 years as new high-tech products enter the market. So the more technology we have, the more productivity has increased. So my question is, why are we still required to work 40 hours a week if our productivity is increasing? So according to the Society for Human Resource Management, small companies with 100 employees lose approximately $420,000 annually due to the inefficient communication within the company. Miscommunication has decreased as technology has increased in advance. So again, we are increasing productivity on all levels. And this is really important when we look at where we were from the early 1900s to now. And since 1972, the information and communication technology has led to a 480% growth in productivity per hour, revolutionizing the workplace. Employees that feel like they have to work a minimum of 40 hours a week, even though they can get their work done in less, are more likely to experience severe burnout. If you don't know what burnout is, it's called burnout syndrome. It's long-term exhaustion, loss of interest in your work, and high levels of irritability. And if you work more than 40 hours a week, you're 6 times more likely to burn out than those who work fewer than 35. So burnout is mostly caused by working too much, feeling out of control, and not being able to juggle all of your work. And this is really driven home by the 40-hour work week, even though you may be able to get your work done in less than 40 hours per week. So now that we have explored the 40-hour work week and how it's not the most effective work schedule anymore, I want to discuss some of the possible solutions to this problem. So the solution to the 40-hour work week not being the most effective way to conduct business is to create a more flexible work schedule for employees and transition to more of a salary or project-based compensation. By creating a more flexible work schedule for employees, they are more likely to be more productive and faster at their job because most individuals would like to get off early and not work as many hours. Now, when we look at it, there was a survey by Airtasker found that flexible workers on average work 1.4 more days every month than traditional office workers, which is about 16.8 more days per year. People are encouraged to be more productive when they're not trying to meet their minimum pay for the week because no one wants to make less if they're working less than 40 hours a week. Now, this results from workers being able to work during their most productive hours instead of being forced to work within that 9 to 5 period of the day. And not forcing employees to work during that period has shown to reduce burnout symptoms by over 22%. So this is a big way that we can attack the problem with a solution. But to add on to that, if employers are paying their workers via salary compensation or project-based compensation, it actually increases productivity in employees without jeopardizing how much money they make. Employees often prolong a task to increase their hourly pay. However, if workers are getting paid the same regardless of the time it took, they would be more apt to work faster and be more productive because they don't want to work longer hours. So employers should not limit their workers' working hours to just 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they should pay them salary versus hourly wages to improve productivity. By allowing workers to work during their most productive hours, it's going to increase productivity and reduce symptoms of burnout exponentially. And when you pair this with working 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and paying salary, employees are just going to waste less time and be more productive for their employers and ultimately save their employers more money. By switching to a more flexible work schedule and paying employees salary wages, employees will tackle the biggest issue, which is 40-hour work weeks being not as effective as they should be anymore. While the 40-hour work week still lays a good foundation for a work schedule, many industries and businesses, it is not the most productive and effective schedule for businesses that are utilizing new technology that increases productivity and communication. Workers are spending less time now than they ever have, communicated, and tasks are now automated. Times have changed since the early 1900s, so we should also reconsider how we work and readjust how we work. Without making any changes, people will continue to struggle to enjoy their lives outside of work and have an adequate amount of time to spend with friends and family after work. Burnout will only continue to increase and get more severe, which has not only affected productivity, but it will also damage many people's mental health. So, consider changing the way we work so us and the future workers of this world can enjoy their lives and work at the same time. Thank you.